prepare Marines for the physical and mental punishment of combat.
Pick up the weights! Exercise!
It's like circuit training on steroids. We're some of the first non-Marines ever to experience this training firsthand. The room is deliberately kept brutally hot, over 100 degrees.
Let's go!
Instructors are yelling at you left and right. And you have to constantly be pumping weight, waiting for your turn to fight.
Soon, it was my turn.
Somebody get my left leg! Somebody get my left leg!
In the fight pit, I thought I had a handle on these moves. Now I'm not so sure. My arms were spent from lifting the weights. It was all I could do to block the onslaught of punches and kicks. When the whistle blew, there was no rest. Back to pumping iron.
That's exhausting.
Then, it was my turn. I might have outweighed this Marine, but throughout Jason's fight, I'd been lifting dumbbells.
Hands up!
I didn't have the energy left to return the high-power kicks I was taking. So I used the Muay Thai knee strikes I'd learned in Thailand. A great way to maximize force when your strength is starting to go.
Mental conditioning comes into so much here because it's all those guys in there sweating, it's already 100% humidity, and you're in there for half an hour, rotating positions. There's no breaking, there's no I'm tired, it's not hang on 1 second, my ankle hurts.
You got everyone yelling at you at the same time. Get it done, get it done. This is true military combat.
And it was just the beginning. Next, we would learn a lethal move first used by Marines in the jungle warfare of World War II. And we'd be forced to perfect it in the toughest conditions imaginable. As America's primary rapid deployment force, Marines must be ready for any type of combat anywhere in the world within 24 hours of receiving the order. Since 1947, they're the only U.S. armed force to get their orders direct from the president. All other forces have to wait for their orders to be approved by Congress.
Marines are also in charge of the presidential helicopter, Marine One. Since 1957, Marines have been responsible for the personal safety of the most powerful man in the world anytime he's aboard his helicopter.
We are the primary security force for all presidential assets associated with HMX-1.
Yeah, there you go.
Every Marine who serves on Marine One is fully trained in MCMAP techniques. And they're the most vital tool a Marine has for this assignment. If an attempt is made on the president's life, you don't want more bullets flying through the air. Instead, Marines need to rely on something silent, focused, but just as deadly: the rear naked choke.
You see this move a lot in MMA fights, but the Marines didn't get it from the ring. They got it from the Chinese. Marines have been using this choke since 1942, when the commando unit known as the Marine Raiders was formed. The Raiders were created to conduct irregular warfare against the Japanese in the jungles of Southeast Asia. One of its first leaders, Major Evans Carlson, incorporated some of the moves he'd learned from the Chinese 8th Route Army into Raider training.
One of the most effective was the rear naked choke, which was perfect for taking out an enemy in complete silence.
Gonna come up, make them tilt their head up, make sure that the chin and the elbow are aligned. You're gonna reach up, nice easy pressure, make a Superman grip, and all it's gonna be now just like this. That's it.
Starting from behind his opponent, the Marine wraps his arm around the enemy's neck and forces his elbow beneath the chin. Clasping his hands behind the enemy's head, the Marine applies pressure in a vice-like movement of the forearm and bicep.
Working much like a nutcracker, your forearm and biceps apply pressure to your opponent's carotid arteries. Located on either side of the trachea, these two arteries are the only way to get blood to the brain. It can take less pressure than squeezing an orange to stop the flow of blood to the arteries. And with no blood flow, the brain shuts down almost instantly. Fight over.
It's only 5 to 8 seconds and then they're knocked out. And as soon as you release it, the blood will come back to their head. We don't teach air chokes in the Marine Corps because it's like a 15 to 20 seconds for an actual air choke to actually take effect, whereas a blood choke is quick and fast. So first up, just put your hand around, make sure that the chin and the elbow are aligned. From there, all you're gonna simply do is get up and get a Superman choke, Superman grip. All you're gonna do is flex your arm and squeeze. As soon as you feel it, there you go.
So the first one is just around here? Like this?
Just like that.
Okay.
Your choke grab, Superman grip. It's like this. All you do is flex your arm. As soon as you begin to feel, done. Tight.
One of the great things about this choke is even when you're drilling it, just having that little pressure there, you start to get lightheaded. Even if he's not putting 100%, 20% pressure, it still makes you get lightheaded. Okay.
But moves like this weren't always in every Marine's arsenal. Until the 1980s, there was no comprehensive Marine Corps martial art. Some Marines got special training, but most recruits were only schooled in bayonet attacks and basic boxing and wrestling. Then, in the Vietnam War, the Marines found themselves victim of surprise attacks from enemy troops, often using deadly hand-to-hand techniques.
After the war ended, the Marine Corps began developing their own unique martial arts system. It came to be called LINE, for Linear Infighting Neurological Overriding Engagement. The idea was to create a simple combat system for every Marine recruit, one that would always end with the enemy dead. In LINE, Marines were conditioned to do maximum damage in minimal time.
In 2001, as the Marines' missions evolved from assault to peacekeeping, LINE evolved into MCMAP. A key part of MCMAP instruction was to train the Marines to have the judgment to decide whether an opponent should be killed or just restrained.
On the ground! Get down on the ground!
One of the techniques that was modified in the move from LINE to MCMAP is the round kick defense.
Your opponent is going to execute a round kick.
As we know from Muay Thai and Karate, a roundhouse kick like this is one of the most devastating strikes in martial arts. But we were about to learn how to make it devastating to the guy doing the kicking.
So what's your technique with my kick landing down?
Well, I'm going to still step in and I'm just going to be a little lower.
Okay.
So, see, I'm still stepping in here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so I can still overwrap and bring it up like the captain said. All right, and now I'm in the position right now pretty much to do just like he says, with either here or to the face and stepping in here like I'm starting a motorcycle, calf on calf, sweeping out and we go down.
As the kick is thrown, the Marine steps towards the opponent and blocks with his forearm. In one continuous motion, he catches the leg with his blocking arm and raises it high. This forces the opponent off balance. The Marine then executes a heel-to-heel sweep and strikes with his palm to the opponent's chest, dropping his opponent to the ground.
Yeah, I felt that.
By taking control of your opponent's leg, you turn his hip into a pivot point. And there are two forces being imparted about the pivot point, one by the arm above and one by the sweep below. These forces act as a couple, resulting in your opponent's rotation that slams him right to the deck. And given the speed of rotation and the force of gravity, that impact could cause permanent injury.
In fact, the damage caused by the fall is so great that it's not even safe to practice this move unless you're on a padded